And CNN legal analyst Danny CEVALLOS joining us now from New York.
Also joining us, US Justice reporter Laura Jarrett in Washington. Good to have you both with us. Laura, we'll start with you. The Justice Department now hoping to reverse this judge's decision. What sort of arguments could the Justice Department make?
So we haven't seen the formal brief yet. We expect to see that shortly. But we know from prior briefing that the Justice Department has argued two different tracks. One is based off of, you could call it procedure, right? They'll say the Washington State Attorney General hasn't been harmed, so they don't have standing to sue. They're not the Visa card holder or a green card holder. They're the State Attorney General, and they haven't been harmed in a meaningful way. The second argument you might see is something more merits-based, something more substantive. There you might see the Justice Department argue that, look, Donald Trump has wide discretion in the realm of immigration, and so he was allowed to do this because it's in the national security interests.
Danny, let's bring you into the discussion. I actually want to go back and talk about this tweet and get your thoughts on that. The president tweeting, using that phrase, this so-called judge. What do you make of that, and what message that sends to the judiciary, the independent arm of government? Is it concerning?
It's concerning because when you use the terminology a so-called judge, you're implying that the judge may not be validly appointed, or may not be a legitimate judge. Now, Mr. President may be saying that he was just being glib, or this is just sort of the way he talks. But it is concerning, as you say, because we shouldn't imply that this judge is anything but a validly appointed judge, appointed to serve for life under the Constitution. So that is concerning. That is definitely concerning for that reason.
Laura, just back to you. How quickly could this all happen once the Justice Department makes their case? What sort of steps will we see take place?
It could move pretty swiftly. So we already know that the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals, which is the higher appellate court from the Seattle court that's going to hear this, they have an emergency panel set up for situations just like this. And so once the Justice Department files its brief, that Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals can hear the case by phone. Now, they may want briefing from the other side, the State Attorney General in this case, but it can move pretty swiftly.
And Danny, what are your thoughts? How far could this go? I mean, you know, appealing the appeal and so on, could it end up at the Supreme Court? And of course, the way it is at the moment, that could end up 4-4, and then what then?
Exactly. I think it's very likely to end up at the Supreme Court because you're almost immediately we're going to have a circuit split. As other courts decide on this issue, there's going to be a patchwork of different court opinions and positions on these issues. So this is the perfect case for the Supreme Court to review, and I'm pretty confident it'll get there relatively quickly compared to all the other cases that wend their way through the system. Once it gets there, as you say, you pointed out, the immediate concern is that with an 8-justice court, this could very easily be a 4-4 decision, and in that case, the circuit below's ruling stands. But it raises the question, what do you do if you have a deep circuit split like this on a matter of national concern? And of course, as the judge in Washington wrote, there is a definite interest in having immigration policy uniformly enforced throughout the country. Indeed, it was the basis for the judge applying his ruling nationwide as opposed to just his district in Washington.
All right, we'll get back with both of you, Danny CEVALLOS and Laura Jarrett. Thanks so much.
Good to have you with us. Well, also tonight, President Trump telling Fox News in a brand new interview that he respects Russian President Vladimir Putin.
That's right, Mr. Trump acknowledging that Putin may be a killer, but then adding this, we've got a lot of killers. Have a listen.
Do you respect Putin?
I do respect him.
Do you? Why?
Well, I respect a lot of people, but that doesn't mean I'm going to get along with him. He's a leader of his country. I say it's better to get along with Russia than not. Will I get along with him? I have no idea. It's very
He's a
possible
killer,
I
though.
won't.
Putin's a killer.
A lot of killers. We got a lot of killers. Why, you think our country's so innocent?